Oh God, people are gonna hate my opinions. Hello and welcome back to Popcorn Chat. I hope you guys are doing well. This is it. This is the long anticipated video that you waited for all year. And so have I, because I've been going around in my head deciding what should be in the top 10 films of 2024. So I finally whittled it down and I've ranked those films. So let's get into it. So in at number 10, we have A Quiet Place Day 1. The original Quiet Place I absolutely loved. I thought it really gave us something refreshing within that genre. However, the second one wasn't as good, but it came out in COVID, so you can't really blame it too much. And then this one I wasn't too excited for, and then I saw the cast announcement and it had my boy Joseph Quinn in it. So I was like, yep, I'm going to go see it now. It was just amazing. It blew me away in terms of the actual narrative, the dynamic between these two. It was very simple, yet so effective in these character arcs. It was just really well written. And I think the performances from our two lead actors was great. I thought Lupita did an amazing job at expressing how she felt in a world which is so limited by dialogue. It's much more about, facial expressions. There were whispering moments, but what these two did with that script was just amazing. And yeah, I think it's a really nice addition to the world of A Quiet Place. In at number 9, we have the first Omen. Now, I've seen the original. It's fine. It's not my favourite horror film of all time, but I was curious to check this one out because I'd heard a few murmurings about this film, and I have to say I was absolutely blown away by the filmmaking, the performances, the music, the narrative. It was just amazing. It was a perfect example of just sitting in the horror and the eeriness rather than relying on the cheap scares. There's been some great performances this year, and I think Nell Tiger-Free did an excellent one in the first Omen, and I think it should really be recognised and not forgotten. I think she did a great job, and I can't wait to see what she does next. We've got more horror on the list. In at number 8, we have Late Night with the Devil. I think this is one of the Shudder original films that I've really loved. I think it was getting a lot of buzz at the time, and I have to say it was amazing. It really committed the kind of 70s late night TV show aesthetic, and the kind of limited scenery and the performances almost felt like a play. And there's great use of practical effects, CGI effects, and I just think it was, the talk of the town at the time, and I think it's one that's really going to stick with me as a 2024 release that I really loved. Moving away from the horror genre, we have Challengers at number 7. So this film just kind of woke everyone up. I think it got people back into the cinemas. I think Luca Guadagnino is one of my favourite directors working at the minute. And to see one of my favourites, Josh O'Connor, on the big screen and kind of get the recognition I think he's been waiting for after doing a lot of indie films, it was great to see, and I was just completely absorbed from that first note from Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross in this score. I was like, I'm on board, this is wild. But I'm so glad this is one I saw in the cinema because it was just so encapsulating, shocking, and seeing other people's reactions to certain scenes was just amazing. And that won't be able to be replicated on a Blu-ray release. So yeah, I'm so glad I saw this. It's going to stick with me and I think pop culture for a long time, and may there be more love triangles to come. So in at number 6, we have Knap. This film completely surprised me. I'd heard of the rappers once because they had an interview where they were talking about the Irish language, and I was like, oh, these guys seem like they've got something to say. And then a couple of years later, this film dropped in my inbox, and it had a real connection to me this year. Being able to interview the guys in front of a live audience as well as the director was just an amazing opportunity, and I'm so thankful I was able to do it. And I'm not just saying this because of that time, but the film is amazing. It's available to everyone now. If you didn't see it in the cinema, you can watch it on Prime. It's just everything you want in a biopic, and it doesn't hide away from the fact, what these guys do, and the musical talent is great. I've been listening to the soundtrack ever since. Do I know Irish? I don't, but I'm loving everything about them, the rhythms, the lyrics, and the kind of attitude and their political stance on a lot of matters. I think they're just kind of, this is us and giving two fingers to everyone. And I just love it. I think it's just so energetic and charismatic, and to say these guys have never acted before is crazy because I think it comes across in a really organic, natural way. It doesn't feel forced, and I think they do a great job at conveying their story in this film, and I think it's just been an absolute triumph for indie cinema this year. So in at number 5, we have The Substance. Maybe controversial for some people putting it at number 5, but for me, I absolutely enjoyed this film. It was great seeing it in a cinema. It was just totally shocking, funny, satirical. The performances were excellent. Gave me the body gore that I was looking for, and it was just great to see everyone talking about this indie French film directed by a woman, female-led. It was just amazing time to have it in the kind of zeitgeist of everyone and have put people onto it, and people are like, what the hell have you shown me? And it's just, it's such a talking topic, and I think it's, again, such a memorable film and has sort of led people to go back and watch Coralie's previous films. I know I have, and it's been really sort of groundbreaking to sort of wider audiences and is kind of breaching the gap between indie and blockbuster, and I just think it's just been great. It wasn't perfect by any means. Some of those sort of tropes about women in society, we've heard about before, but what it does visually and what Demi Moore does or Margot Qualley does is just excellent. So it's going to be one I'm not going to forget. In at number 4, we have Crossing. Now, this film just really sort of touched a part of me that I just found so charming, endearing, and maybe you want to go to Turkey. Like, it just was such a great adventure film of two unlikely characters together on this mission to find her niece, and just the people they meet along the way, the characters and the kind of dual narratives, who you think you're following and the connection and rejoining, it's just done so well. And again, these people have got flaws. They're so three-dimensional characters. It's really stuck with me. I saw it a few months ago and I still think about it, and I recommend it. It's on Mubi. Go and check it out if you haven't already. It's one that I've loved, and yeah, I think it's been, not been seen by everyone. So I just want to keep spreading the word about this film because it's just really, really provocative, really kind of transgressive, and it's what we need in a time like this. So in at number 3, we have Dune Part 2. Even though we got this film way back in January this year, it's something that's really stuck with me ever since. We've had a few blockbusters this year, and I think it's been the best. Carrying on that narrative which we had from the first film was just seamlessly done, and I think the world building that Denis is able to create in this universe is just such a spectacle. And again, I think Timothée Chalamet stepped up his performance in this one. There's very much this kind of journey that he goes on, very similar to the big JC. And he gives this really insane speech about 2/3 of the way into the film. And it just made me like, yep, this is a serious actor. And it just really sort of stuck with me ever since. And seeing it on the IMAX screen with the heater blasting, it just was totally immersive, and is an experience that you just can't beat. Seeing it on the big screen, hearing Hans Zimmer's score, it's just so good. And that's what, big films are made for. There's a lot of indie films on my list, but I also do appreciate those big blockbusters because that's what cinemas are made for, to have that kind of shared experience with the sound on the biggest screen possible, and I think this film really sort of showcased that for me. In at number 2, we have The Count of Monte Cristo. I was unfamiliar with this story. I've never read the book. I've never seen any other previous adaptations, but I know a lot of the infamous ones are done in English, so I know it was great to sort of see one done in the native language of the book and where it's set. So didn't know any of the actors going into this. Went in blindsided, didn't know the story, know nothing. And I came out of this nearly 3-hour film absolutely blown away. I found the world to be just so immersive, so sort of three-dimensional with the characters and the costumes and the music. I was just totally taken back to like France, good couple of 100 years ago. And I just found it so captivating. I want to go and watch other adaptations. I want to read the book. I want to follow what these other French actors are doing because I just thought they were so interesting, and you can see how this story in itself has inspired other films and pop culture. There's a whole element of disguise and revenge, and it just was ahead of its time. And I think they did such a good job at conveying that narrative and feeling for certain characters, but also loathing certain characters. It was everything for me, and I don't think many people saw it this year. But again, I was fortunate enough to see it in the cinema, and it just blew me away. Seeing it on a Monday afternoon, I was like, yep, this is my kind of period piece and I'm totally in for the ride. And yeah, I think it was just not seen by many people, but go and check it out if you can. I'm not sure where that one is available, but please go and watch it because it's my second favourite film of the year. It must be good if I've said it. Surely, maybe. As I've gone through this list, you probably think, oh, Sarah, you've said my number one. Oh, you've already said it. Or you've not included it at all. But my actual number one film of 2024 was My Old Ass. This film I saw in the cinema. It was on its last sort of run in Everyman. And oh my goodness, again, didn't watch the trailer. I was like, yeah, Aubrey Plaza. Don't know anyone else. I'm in for this. And if you know me, you know I love a coming of age film, and this just ticked all the boxes that I'm looking for with that subgenre. And it just sort of really resonated with me. It kind of encapsulated like my age and my sort of time period of growing up and the pop culture references of like Justin Bieber and just the music and just all that sort of relatability was there for me. And it was produced by Margot Robbie, so it's going to be amazing. And yeah, just hearing those kind of female voices and the performances, it was just really refreshing. It balanced humour, the kind of melancholy of life. It just had everything I wanted it to. My only small negative was like Aubrey Plaza wasn't in it enough, and she was great. But all in all, it just had me sobbing, it had me laughing. It just ticked so many boxes for me. And again, it's one that had a small cinema run. It's on Prime, so you've got no excuses to go and watch my favourite film of 2024. You're just going to have a barrel of laughs. If your favourite sort of types of films are coming of age and you've not seen this, well, you're doing yourself a disfavour because this is one to watch and it was my favourite. Thank you so much for watching this video of my top 10 films of 2024. Like I say, they're all very personal to me. They're what I've enjoyed. You know, you might have a completely different list. So let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your top 10 of the year. And thank you everyone who has, you know, followed the channel, who's joined this year, has been here since the beginning, supporting me along the way, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you found me. Thank you for watching the reviews, leaving comments, even leaving those hate comments. I'll take the engagement. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to see what 2025 has in store for Popcorn Chat. I've got a few things under the sleeve that I want to tell you guys about. So stay tuned, spread the word, and let's go on this crazy journey together. I'll see you guys in 2025.